So it's all set up. How you doing, folks? This is Rex at the Buckeyenest, and we're out here with Cindy. She's a member of the Freedom Equestrian Team. This is another impromptu movie I'm doing for you, and we're doing this because this is a very good organization that helps out veterans, and we need to try to get them some money. So if you recall me telling you about bales of hay, well, they not only need that, but they need a little money stuck inside, because I just found out they do all this. Well, I didn't just find it out, but they do a lot of this out of their own pocket. And they take donations for the carriage ride, and they accept donations through the internet and other things. And people can send money to Leah, and we'll tell you all about that in the movie later on. But right now, Cindy, how long have you been with the Freedom Team?
I joined May of 2013.
Okay.
The way I happened to join was that in 2011 my cousin had passed away, and he had no immediate family members, no will. So out of 4 of us cousins, I was elected to take care of his estate because I was the only one not working. I'd just been laid off. And he had these 2 wonderful uniforms. He was in Vietnam, and he had 2 uniforms. I had Crest and that was funeral, and I hated to get rid of them. I tried selling them, hoping to find a collector that would take them or something, and I couldn't find anybody. So I waited a year. I put them back on the sell list, and I got a phone call from a woman who was hoping that I still had them. She wanted to buy them for the museum down here. And so she came to the house, she bought them, and then a couple of days later I got another phone call from a man saying he was the curator of the museum down here.
Is that Mark?
Yes.
All right.
And he was asking, that's how I met Leah. That was Leah that called.
Okay.
I didn't know at the time, but that was her. And he was hoping I still had them. He wanted to buy them for the museum, and I said, well, I think you're getting them. So I kind of gave away Leah's surprise. She was kind of surprised. But they are on display. One is on display in
You'll
there.
have to show me those later.
Okay. And then my sister and I, we don't have kids, so we ended up donating my dad's Japanese bugle that he picked up off the battlefield in Guadalcanal. It's also in there, a service picture and dog tag. And then my cousin's father's interment flag. Out of 10 siblings, 7 of them, 6 were in World War II, 1 was in Korea.
Now let me ask you this, before I forget. I have a bad habit of that sometimes. Have you checked the World War II Veterans Memorial to see if all those people are named on it?
I put my dad on.
Right.
My sister and I honored a relative, and we put my father on it. I told my other cousins about it, but I don't know if they actually got them on the memorial.
I was just bringing that up because I work part-time for an organization called Veterans Outreach. We're 14 different states, and the corporate headquarters in Struthers. And we're all the time directing people to that World War II site, telling them the veterans, their relatives, young people. And they do that free of charge, by the way, folks. That's for you, John, of the Veterans Outreach. I got that in there. A year, a little over a year now. What's the most memorable thing that comes to mind that you saw between veterans and the therapy program and the horses, with the exception of cleaning up after Memphis?
Well, I tell you, it's the comments that we get sometimes. And the most memorable comment I got was from our tallest veteran that we had last session. He's 6'7". He has to duck to go through the doorways. But sometimes we don't ask what's wrong. If they want to tell us, they could, we'll listen, but we never ask. And this man he was leaving. It was the last day of the session. He was leaving. He turned around and he said to me, I just want to thank you guys for coming out here. He said, Tuesday is the best day of the week for me. He said, it has been these last 6 weeks. And he said, on Tuesday, I don't need my meds for depression.
Wow.
And we didn't have any clue that that's what a big part of his problem was, because he was always happy and laughing and jovial. But that could be a mask.
So he was kind of out here being helped with depression issues.
Right.
He was taking medication on a regular basis. He didn't take it on Tuesdays.
No, he said his depression was manageable without the meds.
David was telling me a story about a guy who started out here on a walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
when he was all done after 6 weeks, he literally climbed up on the back of a horse and rode it himself.
Yes, he did. He did not want to be here those first few days. He made it clear he didn't want to be here, but you have to be here. This is occupational therapy.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, he was all smiles when he got up on the horse, and he took that typical Western stance. You could tell he'd ridden before.
Yeah. David said he had actually been a horse trainer before he went to Vietnam. Broke horses in and things of that nature. So you actually saw that occur too, that transformation.
I was the photographer on that. When he got up on that horse, I caught that
got
smile.
any pictures of that still?
Yes, I did.
You got my card?
Yes, I did.
That transformation and the tall guy, do you recall his name?
Yes. Russell?
Russell. I saw Russell make a transformation. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was. And another thing that we've got going on, we're starting to get some regular visitors. We've got a man that comes over from the CLC. We don't have his release, so I won't say a name. And I've never taken his picture from front. But he comes over on his motorized scooter. He ended up last time or the time before, he bought a replica of that church over there. He just thought it was the greatest thing. They've got it for sale in the museum. It's a fundraiser. And he bought that, and I carried it back over to his room for him. He asked me to carry it for him, so I did. And he just shared a lot of different things that he does over there. He was in the Tet Offensive. He said he had been on board a ship when they were hit by a mortar, and the shrapnel ended up cutting up his legs. I don't know if that's why he can't walk, but they share their stories when they want to. But it's usually after they've been around us for a little while.
They gotta trust you. They see you over here. A lot of them, you hear a lot of negativity about the VA lately, but a lot of these vets out here, when you talk to them, they'll tell you better stories than what you hear, because you only hear what the media wants you to know.
Right.
So, my brother works out here, by the way.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's a computer specialist.
Okay.
Been in the tech department. Been in service with the government over 35 years. Okay, I love you too. Well, do you own horses yourself?
No, I never owned them. I've always been a rider. I grew up in the city of Dayton, so no places for horses. But I took lessons, private riding lessons for years, just so I could ride them and be around them.
You ever want to get one of your own someday, or?
Yeah, my husband and I had thought about it, but again, no place to keep one. I asked my neighbors if they'd let me keep one in the backyard. They thought it was a great idea, but I don't think the city would like it.
Well, wait a second now. Leah was just inside saying it takes 2 acres of good grass to feed one horse.
Yes.
You live on a 2-acre plot of land?
Oh gosh, no, it's not even 1 acre.
Well, then you'd have to get those little squares.
Yes. That
Cindy?
amount of grain.
I'm going to be around for the next 5 weeks.
Okay.
You and I will be talking.
Well, thank you.